Welcome to the Don't Get Fooled Show with Big Weird Age College Football Week 10. Let's go, Ace.
All right, boys and girls, College Football Week 10. Cannot wait, Big Ree. You know, it was a really weird weekend last week. I know you cleaned up. You completely cleaned up on the books. It was an overall good week for me, but not on the video picks. Horrible. Two of my picks were complete doozies. We'll get into them when we do our recap right now of some of the big games, but two complete doozy picks. Unreal. But I know you cleaned up. You had a really good weekend, along with your birthday dinner that we did get Big Ree out, so we'll talk about that. And so I think you had a great weekend. It was good for you. You had one doozy of a game that we'll talk about. Probably one of the dirtiest bad beats I've seen in a long time. In a long time. So let's get into the recap. You know, let's start off. Number one, Georgia. They beat up on Florida.
Expected.
Easy win for them. They played bad and they still won big. Ohio State and Penn State.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't watch that. I was at my nephew's football game.
So you were there. You were at the football. No, I watched that whole game. That was one of my picks. I had Penn State plus 16. They covered. They were up by 5 with 10 minutes left. It looked like an easy cover. Like it was just, it was in the books, and they could even upset. Then Ohio State unanswered almost 28 points and actually messed up the cover. Yeah. And then Penn State got a touchdown at the end, but unreal game. But yeah, Penn State, they covered. That was good, but that was unreal. And Ohio State, I've been saying it, they're vulnerable. They could have lost that game.
For sure they are.
They could have lost that game when they play a good team. I'm worried about them. But then Tennessee, 44-6 against Kentucky. That was my pick last week, my lock of the week, Big Ree. Kentucky plus 12.5. They got spanked by Tennessee. And the first half was not bad. It was 20-6, with a minute left. And then they had some crazy touchdown and they got an interception. Yeah. Kentucky was about to score, but other than that, they just fell asleep. And Kentucky's quarterback, Will Levis, looked like complete crap. Yeah. Complete crap. There's no excuse here. These guys played like crap. They look like crap. Not taking Kentucky for the rest of the season. Yeah. No excuse there. Horrible game by Kentucky and Tennessee. You know, they did what they had to do. They looked good, and they won. Give them credit for that. Michigan beat Michigan State as expected. TCU, number 7 TCU versus West Virginia. You had West Virginia plus 7.
7.5.
Plus 7.5. And, the close game the whole time. And then at the end, you got bad beat. The game was over.
They have no business going for a TD there.
No business
at
all.
They already drew him offsides. You just take the first down and take a knee. That's it.
It was done.
You have no reason to
decided to throw it for a 30-yard touchdown.
Yeah, you have no business.
And win by 10 and mess up the cover. One of the worst bad beats I've seen, Big Ree. That you were going to go 3-0 last week.
I was.
It was already penciled in.
Yeah.
That was a bad beat of the century there, Big Ree. So I feel bad for you on that one. That sucked. Oklahoma, this was the game that I need to talk about. Oklahoma State, Kansas State. Kansas State was a 1.5 point favorite. Kansas State won 48-0.
Oh, wow.
48-0, Big Ree.
Lord have mercy.
And honestly, I watched that game as well, the whole game. There's nothing to say there. There's no they started off bad or too many turnovers or this. They just didn't show up.
Yeah.
This is one of the worst. It's a 1.5 point spread and you lose by 48.
Yeah, that's definitely.
It was unreal. Unreal. Probably I'm going to admit this. Probably my worst pick that I've had maybe in 3 years.
It's
worst
okay,
pick.
It happens.
It happens, but you know me.
Yeah.
I don't like losing anything.
Yeah.
I take every game serious.
Yeah.
There's a bad week. I don't sleep over this. And this was unreal, 48-0. Horrible picks. That's the pick I'll apologize about. Unreal pick there. USC won, but didn't look too impressive against Arizona. Ole Miss squeaked out a win versus Texas A&M. Notre Dame beat Syracuse. I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Off the video picks, that was my pick. That was an easy one. Wasn't big on Syracuse, and I knew Notre Dame would win this one. UCLA beat up on Stanford.
Yeah,
That was another one of my picks that I liked. Outside of the video, boys and girls, Illinois is going to 7-1.
Yeah.
Win against Nebraska. UCF beat Cincinnati. That was another one of my picks off the video. But sorry for Cincinnati. Pittsburgh, they lost to North Carolina, who's 7-1 also. Missouri beat South Carolina. I was not big on South Carolina. Last week they had a doozy against, they squeaked out against Texas A&M, but I wasn't impressed. And I liked Missouri as well. So overall, had a good week, but the video picks, those two doozy picks just crushed me. I was so upset on those picks, but what are you going to do? Just a horrible week. Got to bounce back this week. Let's get into some BS talk segment of the week. Big Ree. Got Big Ree out for your birthday. Last minute. Literally, the guy was last minute, would not talk about, would not say where he wanted to go. Everybody's waiting around. The boys are waiting around to take Big Ree. This guy's not saying anything. And finally, he stepped up, wanted to go to Craft Smokehouse in Pasadena. Actually, in Arcadia.
They have 2 locations.
They got 2 locations. They had the other one closed early, so we went to the Arcadia location. It's barbecue, smokehouse.
Yeah.
What did you enjoy your birthday dinner, Big Ree?
Of course, it was really good. Nothing like a dinner out with the boys.
Yeah, it was good. I got the Madison.
Yeah,
that was
followed.
Yeah, you followed on that. That sandwich was pretty good.
Yeah.
A little bit salty this time on the brisket, to be honest, but overall it was good. But everything there is good at Craft, man. Craft.
I had the brisket potato salad. I upgraded my side.
Oh yeah, you got the upgraded too, huh?
It's good.
Yeah, their stuff is legit. I upgraded to the I upgraded my side to the brisket and grits.
Yeah.
And that was good. Their brisket waffle fries are bomb.
Yeah, we had those too. Yeah.
So those were good. The quesadilla.
Yeah.
The brisket. I mean, everything is good there. That's a solid joint.
Javi got that big ass pretzel.
Oh, Javi always gets the pretzel. Update on Javi. He's doing well. He's back shooting. Good to see Javi back at manning the camera. But overall, it was a good night. We went out to some other spot afterwards. Pretty loud.
Yeah.
That was a late night spot.
My ears were gonna get blown out.
Yeah, that was loud as hell. A lot of a lot of stuff going on at that spot, but
for sure.
It was good overall. It was a good night. Glad we got you. But it definitely took me back the whole. I mean, I got home like 2:30 maybe.
I don't really know what time.
Something like that, and so I felt it over the weekends. I was busy over the whole weekend. I was busy, non-stop. I feel like Friday, Saturday, even Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, didn't even have an hour to rest. It was non-stop. So then we had to take on Sunday night, celebrated. Took Javi out, and so it was a long weekend. And so but before we get into some other stuff, but one of our loyal viewers, shout out to Takiro Kung. He's the guy that offered to bring you food for your birthday one time, Thai food for your birthday. But Takiro Kung, he wants us to have a seafood segment. So let's get to some seafood. Big Ree, what is your favorite seafood?
That's a tough question.
We got lobster.
Okay, lobster.
We got crab, fish, shrimp, oysters. Those are the big 5 I'm gonna name.
I gotta go fish, salmon.
Fish, salmon.
Yeah.
Okay, so
salmon's like the go-to. Like you can put it on your bagel with the lox. You can have it for a meal.
Yep.
You can do a lot of different things with it.
Yeah, I agree. Very versatile dish. I would say for me it's tough because fish is good, but I'm a big shrimp guy. Always gotta have shrimp, especially you go to the buffets. That shrimp cocktail, go to town on the shrimp cocktail. Then you got crab. If you can get king crab, I mean, I know you got the snow crab, but that's a little bit more work.
Yeah.
You got to really use all the tools to get that meat out. But king crab, I would say king crab is my number 1.
Okay.
King crab, get some butter, get some get some cocktail sauce or get something else and just dip it and go to town. King crab, number 1. King crab, lobster. I would say lobster is good too. Yeah. Obviously, that's a little bit more fancy, but I would say my number 1 is king crab. There's so many different kinds of fish.
Yeah.
Are you a jumbo shrimp kind of guy, like the big prawns?
No, I like the regular
I
size.
just like to just be able to. Here's a good question for you: peeled or unpeeled shrimp, Big Reed?
Peeled.
Peeled.
Yeah.
So you don't like to do the work.
No, I don't.
You just want to eat.
I never like to do the work.
Yeah, but everybody that's a true seafood fan, you might as well slap them in the face if you say peeled shrimp. It's the truth. If anybody that really eats seafood, they want to peel that shrimp.
Yeah?
And it keeps the flavor. Everybody. I mean, I've had this discussion. That's another thing that you can respond in the comments. Do you want peeled or unpeeled shrimp? What do you guys like? But yeah, so I like peeled because it's easy, but I've learned my lesson and I go with the unpeeled, and I just gotta do the work. And on that note, there's nothing like those seafood spots, like those Cajun seafood spots or Hot and Juicy.
Yeah.
Where they put all the seafood in the bag with all the Cajun seasoning or lemon pepper, and so those places are the best.
Right.
But obviously you're gonna get taxed there.
Yeah, for sure.
This is not a $25-$30 meal if you want to eat good there. You better get ready to spend $70 bucks a person.
Right, yeah.
$80, maybe 100 with sides and drinks, and you're gonna eat good, but nothing like those seafood spots.
Exactly.
We got a bunch out in LA, a lot. So, comment below what's your favorite seafood. I'm just curious, or if there's any seafood spots where the viewers are like, hey, this is a must place. I know on the East Coast they like the crabs big time. What are those? What are the crabs called? Like in Baltimore, these guys eat the crabs. They just put the steamed crabs. Yeah. Those I've had those.
Yeah.
Those are the smaller ones. Those are a real deal. So, there's so many of the dungeon crabs. There's so much good stuff. So comment below. Getting me hungry. I want to go to that buffet out in the Universal, Big Ree.
Yeah.
I know if you're in LA, you probably have heard of that. The big Universal buffet, $70 or $80 a person.
Yeah, maybe we can take our chief guest.
If the chief guest wants to go there, we'll take him.
Yeah.
But that place, you get your money's worth. They have lobster. Huge lobster. They have crabs, shrimp, fish. Oh man, cannot wait. Let's get out there, Big Roo. You haven't been there yet. Yeah. I've been there. I know you have not been there.
Better than a Vegas buffet?
Seafood wise, I would say yeah.
Okay.
Seafood wise, I would say yeah. But Vegas buffets have their own ambiance, and there's a lot of good buffets. I mean, I'm sure people. You know what? Question of the day. We're about to get in our question day, but comment below. Best buffet in your city. Yeah. In your city or a place to go, because I want to go hit up some buffets.
Someone's gonna put hometown buffet.
Yeah, don't put a hometown buffet. Best buffet, and and hopefully has some seafood. So it's not a really good buffet if it doesn't have really good seafood. Yeah. Crab and at least crab legs and shrimp. Comment below. Next year I'm going on a road trip all over. I'm gonna be hitting up places, and so comment below. Best buffet in your city. Question of the day, Big Ree. And I don't know if we did this question of the day, but it came up today. I was like, dude, what's a good question of the day for the show? Literally, I was thinking about it. I turned around. I saw a bottle of water on my desk, okay? And I said, that's the question of the day. How much bottles or cups of water do you drink on a daily basis, Big Ree?
I drink my thermofloss, so that's 40 ounces.
That's 40 ounces. Yeah. One thermofloss is 40. And how many of those are you drinking?
I drink at least 2. At
least 2. Yeah. So you're drinking at least 80 ounces per day. 80 ounces, that's pretty good.
You saw the waiter. Every time we go out, the way these waiters get pissed.
That's a tip. If you ever go out with Big Ree, go to a restaurant, Big Ree drinks up water like no tomorrow. This guy's just drinking water all day. Like you look at it, the water. And so if you're a waiter or waitress watching this, or you're with Big Ree, make sure this guy gets a refill on the water. If not, this guy gets really cranky and upset. This guy needs to drink his water. 80 ounces. Yeah. I just drink the Arrowhead or the Dasani waters, 16.9 ounces per bottle. Before a few weeks ago, a few years ago, I was only drinking 1 bottle a day.
Yeah, no, hell no.
Then every year I said, okay, now I got to do 2 a day. Then I got to get 3 a day. Now I'm between at least 4, maybe 5 a day.
Yeah.
So I'm close to the 80 as well.
Yeah.
And I drink some water and my tea and stuff. So comment below. I'm curious to know what's the range. Do some people drink just because everyone says you got to drink a lot of water for many different reasons. So comment below how much water you drink, and I want to see who drinks the most water on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I know there's people that are hardcore with that, but it's tough. It's tough. When I first started trying to go hard on water, 2 was a lot for me.
Yeah.
Now I can easily do 4 or 5. So question of the day, how much water ounces do you drink per day? Let's get into some shout-outs, Big Ree. Shout-outs to the viewers.
You started out.
Want to give a shout-out to Urban Whitfield from Tupelo, Mississippi. Tupelo, Mississippi. What up, Urban?
Shout out to Dustin Lineker.
Dustin. I want to give a shout out to Manny Carras.
Shout out to Richard Layton.
I want to give a special shout out to Joe from Houston, Texas.
Shout out to Greg Scott, best friend of Corey Luckett.
Corey Luckett. So he wanted us to give a shout out to his best friend. Let's give a shout out to Miguel Vega from Springfield, Massachusetts.
All right, I'll let you take this one too.
All right, want to give a birthday shout out to Ralph Estrella from Las Vegas, Nevada. What up, Ralph? Happy birthday.
Shout out to Randy C. from Memphis, Tennessee.
Memphis, Tennessee in the house. Want to give a shout out to Kendrick Blackman, Pac-Man from Panama City, Florida.
I'll let you take the last one.
Okay, and the last shout out, I want to give a special shout out to TJ Harvey from Biloxi, Mississippi. Baby Vegas, he's been DMing us on Instagram, going back and forth, and he's trying to make some cash on these, on these wagers, and earning some extra cash, and real cool dude, and was telling me about Biloxi, Mississippi, and all he's like, the Baby Vegas, and I was like, Baby Vegas, what are you talking about? Now, I've heard of Biloxi, looked it up, they're Baby Vegas, Big Ree. They literally, it's Baby Vegas of the East Coast, the South.
Yeah.
A lot of casinos, resorts out there, and that's on the list. I put that on the list literally after I looked it up. I watched a few videos, looked it up, put it on the list, got to go to Biloxi, and it seems like between Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama, we got a pretty good following out there, Big Ree.
Yeah.
All the boys trying to make cash. And so, and you know what? On another note, Big Ree, you're handling a lot of the Twitter. I'm handling a lot of the, the Instagram now.
Yeah.
So we're just getting inundated with messages and stuff. And so we had to split it up. But for me, it's always good that we get a lot of comments on a daily basis or DMs, and people are telling us how much they love the show and how much they appreciate all our picks, and just keeps us going, makes us want to do more. Don't you feel that way,
Yeah,
Big Ree?
for sure. The more subscribers we get, the more encouragement it is. So make sure to hit that subscribe button.
For sure, I agree. It encourages more. We've been getting more and more subscribers, likes, views, and messages, and how much they love it, how much their friends and family are jumping on board, and how much they look forward to the show. So allows us to do more and want to do more. And so we've thought about that. And so hopefully soon, guys, got some big announcement coming up. But, until then, thanks for all the support. We appreciate it. Anything else before we get into the docket, Big Ree?
That's it. Let's get into it before we go right.
Let's get into it then, And on that note, one thing I do have to throw out, we're getting a lot of comments about a lot of BS talk until we get to the game. Look, guys, we purposely don't put in non-skippable ads. Purposely. So if you need to skip it and you just don't want to support the channel, go ahead. That's fine. But just so you know, when you guys skip the ads, we lose ad revenue, and that's how we're able to support this channel. So just so you know. All right, without further ado, here we go, boys and girls. Aquí vamos, chicos y chicas. Let's go. Game 1. We got number 8, Oregon at Colorado. Oregon is a 31.5-point favorite. Oregon is 7-1. Coming off a 42-24 win versus Cal. They're currently on a 7-game winning streak since the week 1 beatdown they got from Georgia, 49-3. Quarterback Bo Nix is looking good. He's having the best season of his career. You know, he was super hyped going into Auburn.
Yeah.
It didn't pan out for him. Just played decent, but he's playing great. And they have scored at least 40 points in every single game other than that week 1 game. It's 40 plus. But they're not blowing teams out, but they have a pretty tough schedule, to be honest. They're playing pretty good opponents. Then we got Colorado, 1-7, coming off a 42-34 loss to Arizona State. Their only win was a 2013 win versus Cal in overtime. And they have given up at least 38 points in every single game other than that Cal game. 7 of 8 games have given up at least 38 points. And they've lost by at least 23 points in 6 of their 8 games, Big Reed. And, you know, look, Oregon is going to be their best opponent all season. I know they played TCU in week 1, but I'm still not big on TCU, even though they're undefeated. I'm still not buying it. I don't see Colorado scoring more than 14 here. And I see Oregon putting up 49. And so this is my lock of the week, boys and girls. I'm taking Oregon minus 31.5. All right, game 2. We got number 25, UCF at Memphis. UCF is a 3.5 point favorite. UCF 6-2, coming off a 25-21 win versus Cincinnati. They played well versus a solid Cincinnati team. Look, only losses on the season are to Louisville and East Carolina. Both are pretty decent teams, win record-wise, but not impressed with their overall schedule. You know, then we got Memphis, who is 4-4. They're coming off a 38-28 loss to Tulane, who just got in the AP 25. They're ranked 25, Tulane. Too many turnovers and a bad start in that game. It didn't work out for them. They're currently on a 3-game losing streak. You know, they had close losses to East Carolina, and then they had lost to Houston. They were up 29-13 to Houston with 8 minutes left, and they blew that game. They're a high-powered offense led by quarterback Seth Hennigan. And look, they're coming off back-to-back road games. They're at home. I like Memphis to cover here. I really like Memphis to cover here. And I'm taking Memphis plus 3.5. Game 3. We got the number 2 team in the nation, Tennessee Volunteers, at the number 1 team in the nation, the Georgia Bulldogs. The Georgia is an 8.5 point favorite. Tennessee 8-0. Coming off a 44-6 win versus Kentucky. As I said earlier, that was one of my picks last week, and Kentucky just fell asleep. Horrible pick on my part, boys and girls. Tennessee played a perfect game. They played a perfect game last week. I got to give them credit. Kentucky fell asleep, and they looked like crap in the second half. First half, they played decent. Second half, they just fell asleep. Quarterback Hendon Hooker, who's the Heisman candidate, played great again. 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He played well. But everything I said last week applies this week again. Look, weak schedule, home-heavy schedule, and questionable defense for Tennessee. Then we got Georgia, who's 8-0. They're coming off a 42-20 win versus Florida. They played bad, and they still won by 20, Big Ree. Still won by 20. They started off the season with a 49-3 win versus Oregon. Then they got complacent. They had some, squeaked out wins and not impressive wins versus Kent State and Missouri. Then they got back to form over the last 3 games, winning big. And look, this is one of those games where it's like, what, Georgia minus 8.5? There's no way. At home. And everybody is going to pound Georgia here. Everybody's going to pound Georgia unless you're a Tennessee fan, right? And this is my thought here. Look, Tennessee stays competitive in this game. Georgia is going to play really well. And I'm calling this. Look, this is going to be a very, this is a tough game here. Georgia wins for sure, okay? Georgia's not losing this game at all. no chance at all. But I'm calling a backdoor cover here, Big Reed.
Okay.
I'm calling a backdoor cover. I love Georgia to win this game, but I think Tennessee squeaks it out here and squeaks out the cover. So I'm taking Tennessee plus 8.5. All right, Big Reed, let's go.
The first game I got is a Friday night game. We got Oregon State traveling to Washington up north. Oregon State 6-2 coming off a 42-9 win versus Colorado. Washington 6-2 as well, coming off a 28-21 win versus Cal. I think home field plays a big thing here. Friday night, fans are out. The frat boys, sorority girls gonna be out there
For sure.
cheering on their team. I really like Washington State minus 4.5 here. I'm swallowing the point. It's gonna take Washington minus 4.5. The next game I got is Penn State at Indiana. Penn State coming off a 44-31 loss versus Ohio State. And Indiana came off a win. Penn State does not score much. I don't want you guys to get fooled off last week. Ohio State's just a good offense with a bad defense, just like USC. I don't want that to get fooled. Indiana does not score much either. This is going to be a low-scoring affair. I'm taking under 53.
Bam.
And the last game I got is Arizona at Utah. We got Utah coming off a 21-17 win versus Washington State. We got Arizona coming off a 45-37 loss versus USC. Played pretty good. Arizona can score and Utah gives up points. That pretty much made it clear on the USC game.
Yep.
And this is going to be a very high-scoring game. I'm taking over 67.5, and that's my lock of the week.
All right. Anything else you want to say, Big Reed, before we sign
That's
off?
it.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Peace out.